Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Launch Network. I am Carmine Denisco, and I host several shows on what's called a podcast network. Podcasting is so much fun because you get to talk directly to an audience who is interested in specifically what you're talking about. And when I started my podcast over 4 years ago, I was hoping to be able to reach not only potential customers of my business, but also people out there who needed help like I did. And that's what's, again, so great about podcasting. Let me back up a little bit, tell you a little bit about myself. Again, I'm Carmine Denisco. I am a managing partner for a company called Inventors Launchpad. We develop, design, manufacture, and import products made from all over the world, several different countries that we use. And the good part or the fun part about what we do is that we take people's ideas, people's inventions, and we make them a reality. And it's a lot of fun taking people's dreams and turning them into an actual product. Now, a lot of these products sometimes don't make it onto store shelves, which is sometimes okay with people because they've had this dream, they've had this idea for a number of years, and they're really not sure whether it is going to be a feasible product or not. But being able to take that product and prototype it, make it into a sample and test it really gives them that peace of mind that they actually tried. They weren't just talking about it, they thought about it and they gave it a shot. Giving it a good shot is what you want to do whenever you think about moving something forward. The best thing to do is start right away. And that's what we do here at the Launchpad is that we help people take that idea, take that dream out of their head and we take it and design it, develop it, manufacture it. And in some cases, we are able to put it onto either store shelves, go to some of the shopping channels like HSN, QVC, or onto infomercials that you sometimes see on TV. Even Amazon now. Amazon is a big seller of inventions and products in that sense. So it is a lot of fun doing what we do here at Inventors Launchpad. Now, let me back up, talk a little bit about podcasting and why it is so beneficial. And I would think anyone that has a business should be doing some type of podcasting. Now, if you are starting up a business or you have a product, an idea, or you just like to talk like I do, and you want to reach people who are like you or people that are interested in the same things that you are interested, they have several ways of doing things. Obviously, we have social media, we have blogs and video blogs. And the newest thing that is out is podcasting. It's been out for a number of years. We're just starting to hear about it because it's hitting mainstream. We're able to download podcasts onto our smartphones and listen to them in any time we want. So we can be very specific on the titles, on the information that we choose to listen to. It's not something like when we're watching TV or when we're listening to the radio, where only specific commercials, specific information comes on, and it is directed at the masses. And that is one of the great things about podcasting and blogging and video blogging and social media. You can directly talk to the people who are interested in what you're talking about. And that's really important when you talk to people who may be interested in what you have, what you're selling, what you're building, or if you need help with something. There's people out there who are listening and may want to help you with what you're doing. It's very important not to try to talk to everyone. And there's an old saying that shows that if you try to talk to everyone, then no one listens because you can't be specific enough to interest those people who are trying to listen to what you have to say. You can't interest everyone because not everyone is going to be interested in what you're interested in, which is okay. And that's what's so great about podcasting. When I started my podcast, I started it again. We were talking about this earlier for a couple of different reasons. One, I wanted to build content. Building content and getting it out into the market is very, very important. Just developing shows, developing information, white papers, different types of information that has your name on it, your business name on it, your product information, and getting it out into the internet, onto Google, onto Yahoo, onto any of the search engines, and of course, iTunes and YouTube and things in that sense, because having that content really helps when people are looking for what you have to offer. And it's very, very important to do that. So as you put together more and more content, your information, when somebody's searching on one of the search engines or YouTube, which YouTube is one of the largest search engines, or any of the social media sites, your name, of course, or your information or your business will come up, and it'll come up higher and higher. When I first started my podcast and somebody did a search for either my name or the company that I work with, we would come up on the second or third page, and no one, as you know, scrolls down through pages to look for someone else. As we started developing content through the podcast, through YouTube, because what we would do is we would take the YouTube stuff and we would put it on to YouTube, the videos, and then we would take our podcast and we would launch it out to iTunes. So we had several search engines of different content working together, and we started moving up in the rankings. So after a while, as people started doing searches, we get onto the first page and then move it up and up and up to a point where now is we're always either first, second, or third when somebody does a search for inventions or prototypes or sourcing or product development. We will usually pop up in a good spot, and we have a lot of information out there. So again, as I'm going through this, there's specific reasons why you should really think about starting a podcast, and it would be awesome if you could do that. Now, it's talk about when you're developing a way to get information out there, and you're like, "What's out there? What does that mean?" You know, I always talk to people, and they say, "Oh, I have a website. I'm doing advertising. I'm sending emails." And I say, "Why?" And they say, "I just got to get my name out there." Well, if you don't know where out there is, then you're wasting a lot of time, energy, maybe money, and resources to get your name out there. You don't want to just get your name out there. You want to get your name or your product or your business in front of the people who are interested in what you have to offer. And that is called positioning. Now, a podcast does that perfectly. Speaking to the people who are interested in what you do is very, very important. So now when I talk about inventing, I talk about product development, I talk to other experts in the field of inventing and product development, people from around the country who are world renowned. I get to talk to them on my podcast. And not only am I calling them an expert, but they're calling me an expert. And when someone else calls you an expert in what you do, then you are to other people. You don't want to walk around saying that you're an expert in this or you're the best at this, because then it's very hearsay. People don't really listen to that. But when other thought leaders, when other professionals in the field that you're in are calling you an expert, that is when other people will stand up and take notice. So you want to position yourself as an expert in what you do. Choose one thing. You may do several things. Your product may reach several different people, but you always want to position yourself that you can be different. You can be an expert in one thing. And that is what's so important. Choose one thing and be great at it, and you will always be able to have customers and clients and people around you that not only want to be around you, but they want to learn from you because you are an expert in that field. Making yourself an expert will not only help in business, but it'll help with your life. It'll help with your product. It'll help when you're talking to people because they will look to you for advice, for information. It's very important when you are positioning yourself in a business or when you're building a product. So any of you inventors or any people that want to develop a product, if you develop a product that is something that you know nothing about, but when you go to bring it to someone, maybe to put it in a store or put it in Amazon or manufacture it, and you're telling your story and you don't know anything about the type of business or that type of product, very seldom they're going to take that product and believe that it's going to solve a problem. But if you position yourself as an expert in that particular field, an expert in the issues that that product is going to solve a problem in, people will stand up and take notice, and they will listen in that much more earns because they want to know, well, this person's an expert in this field. They developed a product to solve a problem in this field. It's just a little bit easier for people to take what you say with a grain of sand. It's very, very important to position yourself as an expert in the field, in the market that you're looking to develop a product, sell a product, work in, build a business in, whatever it is that you're planning on doing. You really want to try to be noticed as an expert, noticed as a thought leader in that industry. We see it now on social media, on all the different platforms that are on the internet. They have people that are experts, people that you can send the product to, that you can either hire, or they'll do a reveal or do testing. And when that person who is a social media kingpin, or they have hundreds and millions of watchers or followers, says that that product is good, it's going to sell gangbusters, because that one person has looked at it and they have a great following. So you want to build up a following in the sense of people in your industry that are following you, listening to you, and listen to what you have to say. It's very, very important to do that. So that's one of the reasons I started my podcast, is not only to become an expert in my field, but I also wanted to supply the information that I have learned, the mistakes that I have made, and I wanted to convey that to my listeners. So not only would they gain knowledge, but I could slow them down, or hopefully they wouldn't make the mistakes that I made when I was developing products, when I was trying to take an invention and get it onto market, get it to Walmart or Macy's, or get it into Target, or sell it on Amazon. All those missteps, and I don't even like calling them mistakes, all of those missteps, the things that I experienced, I was trying to convey that information, trying to help my listeners, because it was so specific. If you weren't an inventor, or you weren't in developing a product, or you had no idea, or you did not want to develop a product, you would not be listening to my podcast. There would be no reason for you to listen to my podcast. So that's why it's so specific. If somebody's typing on iTunes or in Inventor's Launchpad, or typing on Google or YouTube, invention development companies, or inventions, or product development, or prototyping, and my name pops up, and you start listening to my podcast, and you have no wants to develop a product, you're not going to continue listening, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't need to have everyone in the world listen. I know what I work in is a very small niche market, which again is a whole new story. You want to work in a niche market, but you want to be a big fish in that big pond in that little niche. But I could get into that. So when you're creating your podcast and people are searching and they're listening to what you have to say, you are building up a following. And there's some people that will like what you're saying, some people that won't like what you're saying. And again, as I said earlier, that's okay. But it's very important to talk to that tribe, talk to those followers that want to listen and talk to you, get their information. They're going to send you questions, and you're going to build up that following slowly. Very important to do that, because as you start building up your following, you can build your business, you can build your product, you could direct them to other products, to other thought leaders, to other experts that can also help them. And then you're helping everyone. And it turns out to be a really great feeling to be able to do that. I know when I go to shows and outings, and I've judged a lot of invention contests with K through 12th graders, with a lot of young adults that had awesome ideas. I've been all over the country, not only judging ideas, but just looking for good products. It is so much fun to do that and to see those products. And you are recognized as an expert in your field. So when people come up to you and they've been listening to your podcast, they've been watching your videos on YouTube, and they say, "Hey, I feel like I know you. I got that information. I listened to the show the other day and it really helped me with a problem I was struggling." It's really a great feeling to be able to touch those people. It doesn't have to be the masses. It just has to be that niche group of people that are looking for the information that you're supplying. So I could go on about this forever. I just want to let you know that specifically, if you're trying to talk to people directly and to develop a following, a podcast is really a great way to go. It's fun because you can utilize the podcast not only to bring guests on that can expand your knowledge, that can expand your contacts, bringing a guest on whom you would never have met or got to talk to, and you bring a guest onto your podcast, and you have an hour long or 45 minutes or a half hour conversation with that guest, and you're really just talking to them about what they do. You're speaking with them, and it is a great feeling because now you have expanded your reach, your contact list, and you would never had prior probably been able to sit down and have that kind of conversation with that person. So that's another thing that a podcast does. It really helps with introductions. It helps breaking the ice with people that you would never have met before. I mean, with a podcast, you can reach out and invite almost anyone you want on your podcast. Some of them will take you up on it, some of them won't. But it's so much fun to sit down with someone and talk to them about who and what interests them. Guess what? It's them. They love talking. They want to talk about what they're doing. They want to talk about their business. They want to talk about their invention, their product. And it's a lot of fun to hear them and listen. And you start up a friendship. Almost all the guests that come onto my show, I am able to reach out to them at any point and talk to them or help them. They reach out to me with questions and we get answers. Or, hey, do you know somebody that does this? Yes, let me introduce you guys, and vice versa. So it's a lot of fun to build this kind of community through podcasting and other types of media through YouTube and things in that sense. So just wanted to touch base with you guys, talk a little bit about podcasting and how intricate you could utilize it. If you have any questions, please reach out. I would love to help in any way, and hope to see you soon. You all take care.